Eternal Imprints. Figures that made history and others that changed the future of their countries. By Dr. Jamal Sanad Al-Suwaidi. This book presents a bold new reading of 22 inspirational figures that changed the course of history. The enduring influence of such figures can be seen both in terms of the national development of their respective countries and with regards to the notable impacts they've had upon a number of key areas, which, to note but a few examples, spans across the field of politics, economics, development, science, military affairs, etc. The stances they adopted and their individual achievements, intelligence and willpower have come to present a timeless source of inspiration. The book does not limit itself to inspirational figures that are deceased. Rather, it examines the contributions of several contemporary figures whose visions and ideas have shaped and continue to shape the national development of their respective countries and the broad-based and extensive progress that has been made therein. In the chapter entitled History Maker, the book reiterates that ingenious leadership of the late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan was among his most prominent attributes. His ingenuity influenced the positions he upheld and the decisions he took. It was the driving force behind the establishment of the United Arab Emirates and is essential for our understanding of his approach to politics, ruling and governance. He was also held in particularly high regard for two other characteristics that he possessed, namely forgiveness and respecting other people's privacy. Sheikh Zayed is not only an iconic figure in the UAE, but notably commands respect across the Arabian Gulf and the Arab and Islamic worlds more generally. In reality, he is held in high esteem across the world for having laid strong foundations that paved the way for unification and the establishment of the United Arab Emirates, and for having stood by just Arab, Islamic and international causes. In the chapter entitled Leader of the Empowerment Phase, the book focuses on the accomplishments of His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan and how the desire to empower and deliver happiness to Emiratis have formed the bedrock of his development plans. Hence, His Highness is well deserving of the title of the Maker of Happiness. He has accomplished a number of feats, including overseeing the continued progress of the nation, as well as safeguarding the people's well-being. As reflected by the findings contained in several reports from relevant international organizations, primarily the United Nations, His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan has overseen a number of key initiatives that have drastically improved the quality of life for UAE citizens. In the chapter entitled A Leader Who Defies the Impossible, the book concludes that the inherent desire and ability to overcome what is believed to be an insurmountable obstacle is one of the defining attributes held by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, UAE Vice President and Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai. His Highness is a vibrant source of creativity and innovation, as illustrated by his ambitious visions that blend his rich understanding of culture, economics, sociology and politics. His creative initiatives have further strengthened the UAE as a model for development, management and governance. The chapter dedicated to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, is aptly entitled The Pride of the United Arab Emirates. Sheikh Mohammed is a prime example of a leader that combines exemplary leadership skills with a deep-rooted respect for humanity, in addition to a palpable degree of humility and far-reaching admiration among the people. His Highness is an embodiment of the Arab saying, "Men are but the principles they hold." The principles he himself upholds and the actions he has taken reiterate the fact that his creativity spans across all aspects of his leadership. He is a wise politician, a military veteran, and an athlete with a distinct moral compass. He is adept at gathering the hearts and minds of all those around him, and is a person with a clear vision of both the present and the future. Moreover, he possesses a deep understanding of the world around us. The book also examines the importance of Sheikha Fatma bint Mubarak, Chairwoman of the General Women's Union, Supreme Chairperson of the Family Development Foundation, President of the Supreme Council for Motherhood and Childhood. It considers her to be not only mother of the UAE, or Arabs more generally, but also the mother of humanity. Her dedication to the human race and her benevolence transcends the borders of the United Arab Emirates. When examining the life of King Abdulaziz bin Abdulrahman al-Saud, the book recalls how he established the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and protected it under difficult circumstances. Unity was the focus of his attention, as reflected by the actions he took throughout the different stages of his life. He believed in coexistence between different religious sects and worked tirelessly to deliver this principle in practice. He succeeded in establishing a robust country after gathering its tribes, regions, and communities under one banner. In the same context, Muhammad Ali Pasha, Wali and ruler of Egypt from 1805 to 1848, represents another groundbreaking leader. The book views him as the founder of the modern Arab state and as having laid the foundations for its development. The book also dedicates a section for the late Egyptian president Gamal Abdel Nasser. The book mentions that in addition to being a national leader who believed in Arab unity and a common destiny, Abdel Nasser realized the threat of religious extremism early on and faced it in the form of the terrorist Muslim Brotherhood. The current Egyptian president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, shares a similar state of awareness. The book reiterates that al-Sisi is the man of the moment who reclaimed Egypt from the terrorist Muslim Brotherhood, saving his country and the entire region from the clutches of extremist and terrorist organizations. The book describes the late Moroccan monarch, King Hassan II, as the king of wisdom and balance, referring to the admiration he received worldwide for his wisdom, great statesmanship, and cultural appreciation. The book describes Omar al-Makhtar, the leader of the Libyan resistance against the Italian occupation, as a man as big as a nation, stating that he received the admiration and appreciation among his enemies as much as, and even prior to, his friends, due to his strong determination in the face of a large military force, while at the same time maintaining noble values and defending the right of resistance. The book refers to Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and Martin Luther King, and their attempts to liberate their countries from occupation, discrimination, and/or injustice. The three influential leaders instilled humanitarian values that still prevail to this very day, and that continue to inspire others. Gandhi led the people of India against British occupation through peaceful resistance and calls for tolerance. This approach inspired Mandela and enabled him to overcome apartheid in South Africa. As for Martin Luther King in the United States, he also drew inspiration from a sense of injustice and strove to abolish slavery in his country. The book views the Chinese leader Mao Zedong, the first US President George Washington, and former Singapore President Lee Kuan Yew as three great founders of nations. Tung founded modern China, laying the foundations for development. As for George Washington, he founded the United States and played a key role in establishing the political foundations that still exist today. Yew is viewed as the engineer of modern Singapore and the leader of its development, despite the lack of resources and the difficulties he faced. The book also sees Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom as a symbol of her country's unity and steadfastness in the face of simmering tensions, while Margaret Thatcher, the United Kingdom's former Prime Minister, is described as an exceptional leader, not only in her country but across the world, thus adding credence to her well-deserved title, the Iron Lady. The book identifies ingenuity and the ability to change humanity through innovation as the striking characteristics that define the likes of Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, and Alfred Hitchcock alike. Einstein oversaw a scientific revolution through his theory of relativity and the theory of the fourth dimension, through which he challenged long-established scientific theories that had prevailed for decades. Jobs led the way in terms of the field of information and communication technology that have brought about major transformations in people's everyday lives, while Hitchcock is considered the director of the 20th century due to the changes he stimulated in the film industry and, in particular, detective movies. The book concludes by highlighting a number of lessons that can be learned from the figures cited throughout. First, and perhaps most importantly, excellence per se is regarded as the ability to make difficult decisions and the strength of character to make such decisions. The determination to succeed and confront any challenges that may arise, regardless of how big and complicated they may be, is to be commended, rather than merely seeking excuses for failure or ignoring the fact that such challenges exist. The second lesson to be learned is that teamwork is an essential ingredient for success. Regardless of the individual's level of ingenuity, he or she cannot accomplish their objectives in the absence of a carefully assembled team. The third lesson relates to the importance of new leaders being careful to avoid blindly following what their ancestors set out to achieve before them, choosing instead to question the long-term relevance of established views on politics, economics and science, no matter how great they appear to be. The fourth lesson to be learned is based on the idea that when work takes on an added importance, it becomes a mission that inspires creativity and ingenuity. The fifth lesson is that one's faith in one's own capabilities is the first step towards success and distinction. The sixth and final lesson is that there is no single model for leadership, excellence and innovation at the global level which everyone can adhere to. Rather, there are a variety of models imposed by the nature of the circumstances and developments in each society.